Hello and welcome to the Conveyancing Podcast. This is episode 6 and I'm your host Matthew, and I'm also joined by my co-host Thomas. Hello Thomas.
Hi Matthew. Here we are again, episode 6 now.
Yeah, it's good to be back. We're still in coronavirus lockdown.
Yeah, it's going to be another couple of weeks, but that's fine.
Well, let's see. We'll go through the news and see how it's affecting the conveyancing sector.
Yeah.
We are available on multiple platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Anchor FM, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and others. So make sure to subscribe if you want to keep getting news summaries like these. And a disclaimer, we are not offering any legal advice. We're just offering an overview of the conveyancing news as we see it based on the news sources that we're monitoring. If you have any other news sources you think we should be monitoring, let us know. Drop it in the comments. And so, should we get started, Thomas?
Yeah, of course. So our first article of the day, our first three articles from the Law Society Gazette here, and this first one is, I do believe practically all our articles today are from the coronavirus. It is the demand for wills has jumped by 76%. It's pretty self-explanatory, I do believe. Basically, because of coronavirus, and a lot of people, losing the battle to coronavirus, we have wills jumping by, as you see here, 76%. What do you think about this, Matthew?
Yes, obviously people are worried about maybe like losing their lives to this virus, or their lives being changed significantly, and they're seeking to secure their assets for their families, and getting more wills. I mean, how does this affect conveyancers? I guess, like, if you're not able to do any conveyancing at this time, you might want to switch to like doing a few wills. I mean, if you're solicitors, obviously you can't if you're conveyancing executive. I'm not sure, can conveyancing executives make wills?
I don't know. That's a good question. If you guys know the answer, make sure to leave it in the comments. If our listeners, our humble listeners, this is...
Oh yeah, there was something else here. It was saying that you could make a will through like a video application.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say now. This is a bit of a troubling time, so it's obvious as to why this is happening. But yeah, as Matthew just said, they're trying to make it easier, I do believe, by allowing you to do it via I think it's a sort of a video conference or something.
But it's saying here, because the demand for wills is surging, the government needs to change the rule to allow wills to be electronically signed, because obviously you have to sign it in person. Yeah. So, and you need witnesses. The will has to be signed in front of witnesses. So, I thought you could do it by video conferencing, but it says here the government need to change the rules to allow that. So could we have a video conferencing app where we have the witnesses and the person and the solicitor all joining together, and they somehow electronically sign it?
Maybe it's a new idea that might strike a new abundance of apps that try and do this on your phone, or maybe on your computer or your laptop with a webcam.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's going to be some positive things come from this virus where we get new technologies and they make things easier for everybody all round. So, it says the current law was made in 1837, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to think about changing it.
Yeah, definitely need to keep these sort of things up to date. You never know when this sort of thing might happen and you're already out of date. But I think they're acting with haste. This next article is about a firm that has that sees off £600,000, £600,000 negligence claim over aborted property purchase. This article is talking about how these property developers who claimed a £600,000 loss from their solicitor's mistake, which is related to a property they were looking to, was it build on, I do believe. They've lost their case after the court found that this mistake was not a cost to their investment opportunity. What do you think about this, Matthew?
Yeah, as I understood it, they wanted to buy a site in London where they were going to construct, and the lawyer sort of dragged their feet a bit, taking a bit longer than they should have maybe, and then eventually they found that the site encroached on a footway, and something would have had to be done legally to allow them to develop that site. So, it's not, to me, like 100% clear why the law firm are in the wrong. But what the judge is saying is that had they known that it was encroaching on this footway, would they still have wanted to buy the property anyway? So it just seems, I don't know if the law firm had more experience going into the trial, or I don't know if the property developer really was put out, but I mean, sometimes deals fall through for whatever reason, no, and it's not, you can't just expect someone to pay out for that,
Yeah. It seems a little unreasonable to a certain extent, but they lost regardless. Maybe, the law firm did have more experience, but it does seem like it isn't, well, from what the article is stating, it doesn't seem like the law firm were much to blame there.
The law firm are probably losing a big client anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's already a loss to them. But, it's... it's conveyancing takes a long time, and you got to cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
So, this next article we have here is it's extra guidance for conveyancers stuck in the coronavirus lockdown. It's essentially an article talking about this very nice guide. It also covers a bit of the guide related to what conveyancers can do while they are stuck in the coronavirus lockdown. Matthew?
Well, we already know that they're advising, if you've already exchanged, you can go ahead and complete. But I'm trying to see. The thing is, this article kind of links to the full guidance, but it's a bit short itself on the information.
Yeah, it doesn't cover it exactly. It mainly just talks a little bit about it and then sends you to the guide. But we do recommend that you go check it out if you're a conveyancer stuck right now because of this coronavirus.
It also warns that you should keep an eye on, because this guidance is going to be changing over time, so keep an eye on it. It says even if you've exchanged contracts, you probably shouldn't go ahead and complete unless you really have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's just move on. That's a bit. It's just a link to the guidance, basically.
Yeah, essentially just so all of you out there who watch this have a little guide. We'll leave it in the description. So this next one's from the SRA. It's about the representation in law firms improving, but there is still more to do. And it's just it's mainly talking about the levels of diversity within the legal sector workforce.
Obviously, minority workers, how they're represented in the workforce. They analysed 186,000 people working at 9,500 law firms, and nearly half are now women, so that seems quite representative. Maybe that's higher than it used to be, I don't know. It doesn't up 1% since 2017, so it has improved. And then, but it seems like Asian solicitors are overrepresented, because it says among the wider UK workforce the proportion of Asian employees is 7%, whereas in conveyancing it's 15%, so that's they must be good at being solicitors.
Yeah.
It says the number of black solicitors is 3%, which is broadly in line with the general population. So black people are well represented. But still work to be done, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, you can always represent more, I guess.
It says that 21% of all solicitors have attended fee-paying schools, like public schools. And that compares to just 7% of the general population having been to public schools. So obviously it's a good advantage to have been to a fee-paying school if you want to work in the law industry.
Yeah.
And also the solicitors' parents, 50% would have degree level qualifications, whereas the only 15% is it 8%? Oh yeah, 27% to the other staff. So the solicitors, the higher level staff in the law firms, have more degree qualified parents, but the other staff only have 27%.
There are a lot of percentages here.
It's basically like if your parents were degree qualified, you're more likely to become a solicitor rather than a...
Oh, right, yeah.
It's good to have well qualified parents. It seems they produce more solicitors.
Oh, yeah, you could put it like that. Well, that's good. I mean, it says that there's still work to be done, so we'll have to see what the ideal representation for each minority group or ethnicity would be. I'm not entirely sure. I
tend to be against government interference, because people kind of do what they're able to do, and they find a way to do it. And if the government are just sort of, you have to hire more women because there's more women in the workforce. I know, like areas like science, they tend to be male dominated, and maybe it's because women aren't that interested in science. But I do agree that maybe it could be because they're not being encouraged to go into science, or maybe they're not finding ways to make it interesting enough.
Yeah, it's probably also very scary in the sense of being alone when a woman has to go into one of these career choices and, goes to a university or something and finds that she's one of two women in a 50-person's classroom or something like that. That's something that's very challenging as well sometimes, because it can make him feel a little embarrassed or make him feel stressed in some ways. I'm not entirely sure myself. Either way, let's move on with this next article that is from Legal Features. legal futures, and it's government tells conveyancers to delay completions. So this one is talking about, I'm not sure if we've covered something relative to this in the past, or
well, yeah, that Law Society, the extra guidance, they were already telling people not to, conveyancers not to complete.
Yeah, so essentially it's this article's talking about how rather than cancel these completions, the government is trying to make all conveyancers just delay them until the coronavirus epidemic has sufficed, or maybe even slowed down, or just until further notice, I guess.
Till maybe the end of the lockdown, yeah. But they're saying that there are certain cases, like if it's an unoccupied property, you could go ahead with the transaction, but it says, yeah, prioritize support for anybody with symptoms, self-isolating. I guess if people need to move out of shared accommodation and they're moving into an unoccupied property, it may be better for them to be moved out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty similar to what we were already discussing. Maybe we should move on to the next one.
Okay, yeah. I don't think there's much to say about that, regardless. This next one is by the BBC. Coronavirus. UK mortgage market goes into lockdown.
Yeah, it looks like mortgage companies, I mean, even if conveyancers wanted to work from home and operate during this time, the mortgage lenders have decided not to give out any more mortgages at this time. But it does seem that they're prepared to give out, in some cases, mortgages if you put down a large deposit. So like they talked to Nationwide, who said they would only offer home loans to people with more than a 25% deposit. So they talked also to Santander and Skipton Building Society, who wanted a 40% deposit. So obviously it's going to affect first-time buyers more, really, because they're going to have a smaller deposit.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the point of getting a mortgage if your solicitor isn't allowed to do any completions at the moment anyway?
Yeah, I mean, if it's on hold, we'll just, it goes into lockdown, not that it's gone into a hold.
But it would have been a nice time to organise your mortgage. If you wanted to move house and you're like, well, during the lockdown I could organise my mortgage. As soon as the lockdown finishes, I can move. But that's why it seems a bit strange that they're demanding like large deposits at this time.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, definitely.
But it could go back to the story I think we reported on last time. They're saying that property prices might drop by 20%. So maybe the mortgage companies are trying to protect themselves from any drop in house prices.
Oh yeah, you're right. What was it saying? It was going to drop by a possible 20% in worst cases. That being a lot in this case, in these terms, in the market, in the mortgage market, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the plan, or that's the strategy. There you go. That's the strategy that they're going to try and use to not lose as much.
If they make you pay 25% of the house with your own money, or 40%, and if the prices dip by 20%, then they'll still get their money back. If you can't afford the house and they repossess it, they can still get their money back. But that actually shows to me that they're not very confident in the property market. I mean, they're the ones lending the money. They should be showing confidence at this difficult time, no?
Yeah, when they do this sort of things, it might be worse for them, because people might see these sort of articles, or they might get to know about these sort of things, and it might drive them even further away from the market just now, which means that doing this will probably drive more clients away and make them lose money regardless, in my opinion.
Yeah, this next article is similar to that one, isn't it?
Yeah, but it mainly that one was nationwide. This one's just talking about the banking giants that are Halifax and Barclays. They've scrapped new mortgage deals, any new mortgage deals, unless borrowers have at least a 40% deposit. Yeah, it is extremely similar to the last one, except it's talking about how these two are specifically the ones who ask for that 40% instead of that 25%.
So, what about, there's staffing issues, so maybe that's the thing, that they're trying to reduce the number of mortgages they give out because they haven't got enough staff to fill in the paperwork, because they're all working from home. Or maybe they've even furloughed them, they've put them, basically stopped employing them during the coronavirus. So yeah, there's not much more to say about that, really, no?
No, I don't think so. But this
mortgage broker is slamming selfish borrowers for requesting payment holidays they don't need. So it's kind of, if you're worried about the coronavirus, about being able to pay your mortgage, so you go and ask your bank if you can have a holiday from the payments.
And then you get slammed by them as well.
Yeah, but I mean, if it goes on for weeks, there's going to be a lot of people, who have credit card bills, people used to just living month to month, who are going to run out of money.
Well, yeah, this is obviously the case. I mean, let's talk about. We can also say that we can also state the fact that there are a lot of people who are being laid off at the moment as well, in order for the companies to be able to protect themselves, or that's what they think. Even if the government doesn't encourage it, people are still being laid off, and those people won't have any more money flowing in. Well, in fact, even the people that don't get laid off will probably not have any money coming in for the coming month or months that this may go on. So
it suddenly triggered off something that I haven't thought about before, but what about payment protection insurance? It's like PPI. When you get a mortgage, you can choose to take an insurance which, if you lose your job or you get injured or ill or something, your mortgage continues to be paid by the insurance company. And in cases of death, it can even pay off your mortgage entirely for your wife or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, are people's mortgages covered?
By the PPI in this case?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
We're not entirely sure, but it'd be very. I'm actually very curious about that now, because how things are.
Yeah, I mean, the mortgage companies are like, oh, we're doing you a favour by letting you not pay your mortgage, but in fact, they might be liable to pay your mortgage on your behalf if you've got that kind of insurance taken out.
Yeah, maybe insurance companies are trying to avoid this now because they might lose a lot of money.
Exactly. They're sort of like, hey, why don't you not pay your mortgage for a couple of months? And then that makes you not think, hang on a minute, I've got some insurance that should be paying my mortgage for me.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that man slammed people, because even if they can pay it, well, anyone can pay their mortgage for the coming months, but, they might not have money for food afterwards.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about buying food than paying my mortgage at this time.
Yeah. Moving on, this is another one. Oh, I forgot to state that last one was from the Daily Mail. I like saying where they're from.
Yeah.
This next one is from the Daily Mail as well, and it is. It says that the home buyers and home sellers, left in limbo by coronavirus crisis, how thousands of property sales have been wrecked after government told people not to move house. What are your thoughts on this article, Matthew?
Yeah, this looks at the more human side of, conveyancing side. We just want to keep the transactions moving, and we just want the banks to continue working. And obviously we're worried about people might move into like an infected house, or they might get infected during their move if they have to deal with removal people, or shake hands with the estate agent or whatever. These are people who, they were looking forward to get their dream home, and it's all gone south for them. But I mean, we're in a lockdown. People have got to accept that, life is on hold, and just stay where they are, and then hopefully we can just pick up where we left off after the lockdown finishes.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're in real bad economical trouble or troubles, I feel like this should all be fine. Like in the case of these people, hopefully they're okay, and hopefully they don't have anything else aside from the whole moving the house not being able to happen.
Yeah, it is making me think, are there situations where people could be financially worse off due to being stuck in limbo? I mean, maybe if they were in rented accommodation, they would have to buy their new house and then they'd be paying their rent and their mortgage at the same time.
Yeah.
But being unable to move into their new house.
And would the mortgage holiday be available for them in that case, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's the kind of case. Yeah, that's a good point. That might be the kind of case where the mortgage company might let them off.
Yeah.
It'd certainly be nice.
Yeah, we definitely hope so. That would be the ideal case. Yeah,
it says this couple are considering taking a 3-month mortgage holiday. Oh, they're trying to sell their house, and maybe they'd already bought a new house and they're just trying to sell the old house.
Oh,
they
right.
were hoping it would be sold, but they're going to have to continue to pay the mortgage on their old house. So they're going to have to go to the bank and say, look, can we just freeze the mortgage until
all this blows over? Yeah, well, of course.
I mean, there's no guarantee that their buyer is still going to want to go through with it after the lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
unless contracts have already been exchanged, and then they're kind of legally obligated to do so.
Let's just hope everything's gone well for them, to be honest. And for everyone else out there as well who's having any sort of trouble, we send our condolences. We pray.
Condolences might be a bit negative, no?
Yeah, I feel like that sounds a bit more when someone has perished. I don't think that's very good. But moving on, homes and properties. So this is an article that talks about
Standard.
Yes, Evening Standard.
Yeah,
Evening Standard, the homes and property section. Or is it? Yeah. So the article is London Airbnbs turn back into rental homes. Good deals in store for London renters, and short lets flood the market amid coronavirus travel restrictions. So as the title said, essentially a lot of London Airbnbs have turned into, or back into, in this case, it says as if some of them were already rental homes in the past. They've turned back into rental homes. What do you think about this?
Yeah, obviously, when the tourist industry was still running, because the flights were still moving, and it was good to have an Airbnb, short-term rentals for holiday rentals. But obviously they've seen that's not a good move anymore. So they're doing short-term lets for local people. I'm just not sure how effective that's going to be, because if everyone's on lockdown, they're not going to be able to move to another house, are they?
No, not really. Unless they were lucky and they moved home just before everything hit the fan.
Yeah, they'd have to have seen it coming a long time before to change from an Airbnb to short-term rental. Or maybe they're looking at the bigger picture, that even after we come out of the lockdown, there may still be restricted air travel, which is going to continue to affect the tourist market.
Yeah. I mean, also you could think about the people who were in these Airbnb accommodations before everything, or while everything might have been happening, and they were already restricted from going back home. So they must be stuck in these houses now, and these people aren't going to throw them on the street unless they really want to.
I think you're allowed to go home, but you're not allowed to. I think it'd be more scorned on to continue travelling, and I'm not sure many people could afford to do that anyway. But it says here that the number of listed Airbnbs in London has dropped from 85,000 to 62,000, so that's like almost a quarter drop.
Yeah, that's big, but I was honestly expecting it to be a lot more. It's still a quarter, though.
Yeah, that shows the landlords need the money to continue to function, so they've at least a quarter of them desperately need to consider other ways of getting income.
Unless inside that quarter some people just thought, I think this is going to work, I might as well change it to a rental.
They can profit on a short-term basis.
Yeah.
So will this mean rent reductions? I suppose, with the influx of new properties available on the market, is that good for renters, having more choice?
Yeah, maybe.
It says this charity PR, Imogen Blake, managed to secure a £200 a month reduction on a 2-bedroom garden flat, so that's quite a good reduction.
That is a good reduction. That's crazy.
So it was listed for £1,800 a month, and in the end they got it for £1,600.
Yeah, that's a good enough discount, I'd say.
Yeah.
And here we are with the house of the week. This time we have a self-sufficient farmhouse with 3 trout lakes, 2 holiday lets, and a vegetable garden. Now this house is, as I just said, it's a farmhouse.
From
nice.
Country Life, no?
Country Life. Yeah, that's true. I did forget to say it this time. This article is from Country Life, and we're talking about a farmhouse here in
Cornwall.
Yeah, in Cornwall.
Hallamilling.
That's what I was looking at. Hallamilling in Cornwall. The
agent for the property is Stratton Parker, the estate agent.
Yeah, in case someone wants to get in touch with them and get this beautiful home. Although right now you can't. This place is very nice, and something that struck odd was 3 trout lakes. I'm guessing you can fish in your own lakes for trout. Which
it says a house with
cool.
a food source.
Exactly.
So, you don't need to go to the supermarket and risk getting infected.
And if you like fishing, this could be your pastime while everything's happening. You just go to one of your lakes and you go fishing a little, have some of that lovely sport go through your veins.
No, the kitchen has a nice old-fashioned wooden island. It's like an island, but it's like a chopping centre.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, looking at the interior, it's got a nice roof, the nice wooden beam style roof, where you can see the wooden beams going past. Although that one looks like it's being cut. There's one that gets to the half or the middle of the ceiling and just gets cut. Yeah, that one just goes along.
A few of them are, yeah.
Maybe I was going to say maybe it's just like where the electricity, the cables and everything are going through. The kitchen looks very nice. It's got a carpet on one side and no carpet on the other side.
The plastering's
very
not
wood.
flat. It's like rustic plastering,
Yeah.
sort of uneven plastering.
Which makes this seem very old-fashioned or not very well built.
2 windows, like letting a lot of light in.
Yeah, that's true. Although I'm not sure. I think if the one at the background there was a little bigger, it'd be a little nicer, to be honest. Moving along, we have a lovely price of £1.8 million. Is this the most expensive one we've covered, do you think, Matthew?
I'm not sure. The one with the large, 12 acres? That was quite expensive.
No, I think it's 14 acres.
14 acres, yeah. Here's a picture of the trout lake here. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it is very big. That
lush grass around the edges and lots of trees. It's like a little stream running in there. It's like almost a little waterfall.
How did they get in there, those trout?
Oh, they released them in there, I think. They
that would make sense.
I don't know how they limit the numbers, because it could be completely full of trout, couldn't it? If you let it go crazy.
Oh, so they can grow it now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
just release
sweet.
tiddlers in there, or I don't know if you can just put eggs in there.
Yeah, because I was thinking it's possible for it to not be in very good conditions sometimes. So if you were to just drop some eggs in there, I'm not sure if it would do the trick, or the fishes directly, because maybe they might die off if there isn't enough sustenance. But in this case, it's obviously not the case.
Yeah, the dream would be that you just go and sit and fish there, but I imagine it's a lot of maintenance, no?
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe
Definitely.
you could rent it to people who want to come and fish, but you have to do all the maintenance. But then it'd be a nice little earner.
Yeah. Well, right now with the coronavirus, you could try and rent it to someone, and since they can't go out to a proper, I don't know, a big lake or something, or the typical fishing spots, they can do this for fun. Might be one of the main advantages. This must be the lounge, if I'm correct. It looks like a mix of a lounge and a dining room. It's like that spacious. It has a space for everything in there. It's got a nice wood-fired stove. Wood burner.
It's got like French doors out to the garden.
Yeah, this is a very nice house. Oh, it's got some modern stuff in it too, as in the ceiling lights are very nice.
Like downlighters, like LED. But it looks like someone there does woodwork, because the dining table looks like it's been made of local wood.
You're right.
Rustic.
Yeah. It's a very nice house. Although the outside doesn't look very nice.
That's a kitchen over there as well.
Oh, is it an open kitchen then, or is it 2 kitchens?
Oh, this is one of the holiday lets. This is like a self-contained. It's like a kitchen, dining, lounge, open plan holiday let.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, pardon our
ignorance of the property. Yeah, this must be the first kitchen was the main property, and this is one of the sublets.
That's strange. They've just jumped to the other place. I wanted to see more of the inside of the main building.
So, I mean,
but either way, it looks very nice.
You've got 1.8 million. You can rent out your trout lake. You can rent out your 2 holiday lets.
Yeah.
You'd have an income going there, wouldn't you?
I mean, hell, you could try and establish a club and let loads more fish out free in that lake, and then have all the members of your club that pay you monthly go over there and fish for fun or something. I don't know, a fishing club, how about that?
Maybe you can rent the cottages to fishermen who want to come.
Yeah, that's right, actually, that's a good idea.
Very clean, tidy rooms.
Yeah, but again, I'm not sure. 1.8 million? You do get a lake though.
If you've got it, it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah. Either way, are we finishing off then?
That concludes our latest episode of the Conveyancing Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're staying safe at home and protecting yourself as best you can.
Yeah, exactly. I do as well.
And thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, if you want to keep up to date, and drop us a comment in the comments section. And that's about it.
Yeah, remember, as Matthew just said, drop any sort of article, anything you'd like to tell us about, something that you didn't like even. Do remember to drop it in the comment section, and we will see you all next week for the conveyancing news.
Cheers then. Bye.
Bye.